What up, everybody? You're now tuned into Candid Conversations. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back in here with another live stream. Feeling good today. This week needs to be over. It's hump day. I'm already ready for this week to be over, man. But I'm back in here again because I told y'all this is therapeutic for me. I gotta do this. This is a weekly thing. I gotta get on here. Gotta give y'all my thoughts. Emotionally dump on you because you can't emotionally dump on your woman, and she gonna think you're weak. But we gonna get into that. But got a special guest with me today. We're gonna talk some relationships, dating, little marriage. We're gonna run the gamut. But introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, everyone. I am Coach Chelsea Cooley. I am known as a life coach that talks about self-care, self-love, um, mental clarity, and emotional intelligence. And Mr. Brandon here found me from making a social media post that kind of caught a lot of fire last week in
Mm-hmm.
regards to me stating that I was officially resigning from dating. Um, and then kind of went into of my preference of being courted and what that difference of that was. So here we are.
Gotcha. So yeah, so we're talking about dating versus courting, and is marriage dead? And I am a believer that marriage got shot on 45th and Moncrief, and is currently at Shands on life support, baby. I don't think he's gonna make it. I don't think he's gonna make it. I think we're in a time where the nuclear family has been broken up, and it's by design. They pushed the fathers out of the home. They've been doing it for
Mhm.
years. Started in the black community, but whatever starts here first usually goes to the greater society, and we're seeing it. The birth rate for white people was very low just 30 years ago. Now it's up to 50%. The single mother rate, and it's like
Right.
they never had that. So, but it's by design. It's not just our community; it's going everywhere. So, but I don't think the more immigrants come in, I think that they have a chance to take a step forward in this country because they prioritize family. You can't talk about fixing the community and fixing the black community specifically if you're not talking about families and putting fathers back in the home. I don't see how you do it without. So I mean, I got this single mothers. I'm from a single mother home. I know you good, you strong, and all of that. But two-parent households is where children do the best. We've seen the stats when they come from one-parent households. It's not good.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I will say though that even though, yes, the divorce rates and things of marriage, like statistically, are going up towards separations and split households, um, I do want to notate that there has been an increase in father participation I've
Mm-hmm.
seen over the last couple of years. Even so much so of drastically of fathers taking full custody of their kids.
Yes.
Even for me, I was married and now divorced, and we co-parent. We don't always talk effectively as we should, so we know that those cause issues for our children. Um, but we do our best to keep our children in mind. And with that being said, me and him had came to the agreement in our custody agreement that he would have primary. So the girls, I have three girls of my own, and so the two that I had with him, they live with him primarily, go to school there, and then they come to me during the week. And that was a big and difficult decision I had to make to give that up, but
I'm sure.
it really comes back down to the kids and the family and what's most important for them. And as you said, and statistically, research has shown that it is just as vital, if not more so, to have the father in the household than it is to have a mother. I think I've seen a meme once said that it's more detrimental to have an abusive mother in the home or a mother that's unstable versus an absent father. And
Yes.
so for me, and even with that post that I made, as far as like in regards to marriage and courting and dating, I think it is an accountability issue. I think that women need to take accountability just as much as the men of who we're choosing to date, what the boundaries that we set, the intentions that we set when we go on those dates. Um, as well as when we're laying in bed with people, of what those intentions are, of what's going to
Yeah.
happen after the fact.
Permanent decisions.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say one of the things I think that can remedy the dating market, I mean, it's not a solve all, but it'll help tremendously, is for the men and the women. For men, if you are having trouble dating, if getting women is what you want, if you're focused on getting women, want to be married, date, whatever, sleep around, whatever you want, and it's not working for you, look within, check your reflection, do
Right.
a true assessment of yourself, be brutally honest. And if you don't like the results that you get, then it's time to self improve. Get on your path, get on your purpose, put some muscle on your body, put some money in your pocket. That's what I'm doing right now. Putting muscle on my body, trying to get this money in my pocket. That's what I'm doing. Those are things that are going to help you on the dating market. Now, as far as women, it's simple. Lower your expectations, because I see so many. I know how that sound. I know they don't want to settle and all of that,
Mm.
but the expectations though are off. I mean, it's off the chain. Like and this is the thing. It's not settling if you didn't qualify for it in the first place. Like if you wanted to go to Harvard, but you can only get into Georgia, you didn't settle for Georgia. You didn't qualify for Harvard. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things there. But it's not to rail on the women too much, but the the just six figures. He got to be this tall. He got to have this. He got to have that. And I look at her and I'm like, I don't think that man would be interested in you, because I
That
know those
that
men,
is a
and I
hard
know.
pill to swallow for a lot of women, just as much as men too.
Oh
For
yeah,
both everyone to evaluate. Like, I had a conversation with a man before. He was saying that the way men view women is on like a scale factor. So if
yeah,
he's a 7, then he needs to stay at a 7 or below for his own confidence. And this is just as him as an individual, as a man.
mm-hmm.
Um, but it just kind of gave me a perspective too. Like, okay, well, what would you rate yourself? Are you really that 10 that you're striving to look for? And if
Mm-hmm.
not, then you need to date in your league, or date within your realm of comfort or standard. You
Yeah,
can't expect to, like, men love to go after, a certain caliber of woman that has her hair done and her nails done and makeup done and always wearing these nice outfits. But then they then complain that these women want those things to be helped taken care of. Same thing
yeah,
goes for, a man that then he changes, say he does change it up and dates a woman that is a natural beauty and isn't really into those things. But if he's used to dating that
mm-hmm.
woman of that higher caliber, and then he goes and tries to do the same things he did for that high caliber woman, or high maintenance woman, it won't come off the same way.
Right,
So I think it's a much of a trial and error, and I think that's the difference in dating and courting. Dating should be for you to get to know someone, to get to know yourself. What do you like? What do you don't
yeah,
like? What are you willing to accept? What are you not willing to accept? Um, Dating multiple people. But when you get into those courting realms, you should already know what you want. You should
yeah,
know what you're looking for. And in some instances, yes, lower that standard, whether that be for a man or a woman. But in other senses, you need to learn what your deal breakers are, because that's the difference in settling. It's one thing to try to compromise and work and merge with a person, but it's another thing of, like, you're trying to settle or fix something that is just, it's not going to work in the long run. Whether that be, someone's cleaning habits, the way someone does or does not open doors for you when you're on a
mm-hmm.
date, paying for meals, and having those conversations of asking those questions. I
Right,
feel like dating is more casual. You're asking questions just to kind of get the surface level of someone, versus
mm-hmm.
courting, you're asking those questions of, like, are we going to be able to um work together in a union? Are we going to be able to be business partners, lifelong partners? And I think that
Right.
that's the difference in that, is the seriousness of the commitment behind it.
Right. So we're going to read your post word for word so people know where this all started, what kicked it off. So it says, officially resigning from dating. I no longer use the word dating anymore. The reason being is dating is too open in the wind. I now use the word courting, even though it's an old school word. Damn it, I'm resurrecting it. Courting means the man has to set the tone of the relationship. I agree with that. and both man and woman have made it clear in the beginning that marriage is the goal, and anything less than that is unacceptable. Yeah, if only we had that mentality, man. So one of my comment was kick this off was, as you can see, I said you better hurry up, hey, because marriage is in the ICU, and I don't think it's going to make it. Yeah, and see what what you have replied. You say, yeah, unfortunately, I feel is if you may be right on this one, a lot of open marriages and polydynamics taking place. However, I still have hope for the old school marriage. And I said polydynamics will be mainstream soon. It will be the
They
norm. We
will.
should definitely talk about this on the podcast. Yeah, so that right there, I think that that's a big one. Poly is going to take off. It's going to take off like wildfire, because now we're at a point where it's a lot of people who see it's like why we're not. They realize we're not monogamous by nature. Monogamy is something that's been it's a construct. It's something that's forced. You could say it's forced, but they found out very quickly early on children do better in two-parent homes. So they incentivized marriage. They incentivized courting. You had to meet the father in order to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage. Hey, it's till this day, you still got people who have to pay a dowry in order to take his daughter. You got to pay him.
Right.
Those are old school things. But I have a chart here, and it's going to break down the differences between dating and courting. This is very interesting. And some of the things you just said is on this list. So let's see. Okay. So courting and dating. It says courting is a relationship between a man and a woman wherein they get to know each other and develop their relationship before getting married. Dating is a modern day relationship trend, a stage where the couples meet socially or regularly to see if they stand a chance to be around each other. That sounds about right.
With some words.
I know, right? I saw that. I was like, oh, this is good. Courtship is like a promise to make a commitment to marriage. Dating does not account for readiness of marriage with no long-term commitment. Courting preserves sexual contact for marriage only. Sexual intimacy is very common in modern day dating culture. You better believe it is. Courting cultivates a deep sense of emotional closeness between the couple. Dating, a form of courtship, but without the emotional part. Courting seeks accountability of parents or mentors under the protection of God. There is little or no accountability with family and dating relationships. Whoa, that's interesting. So, what do you think of that?
So one of the things that I wanted to kind of go back and touch on is that the same thing when it says with dating, the difference of dating and courting, and even with the poly relationships, a lot of modern day relationships are solely based on sex,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So it's really not about can you communicate effectively, are we compatible, what are
Mm-hmm.
your clean like hygiene, are we compatible on that end, are we is our what does our households look like, our parenting styles, like there's
Yep.
so many other things that people don't even get to because that's the first thing that pops in people's mind is sex.
Mm-hmm.
um and as you can see, even in dating, there's no intention of it. It's usually just casual sex, casual Netflix and chill over
Yes.
even a movie and dinner, as what old school used to be of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like in general, like that's usually where it kind of starts of things. Like, what are your intentions coming in? And I feel like the people who are courting are more open minded and more patient to wait for the sex,
Mm-hmm.
to wait to see if they can build a bond outside of the sex versus dating. It's like you're having sex and then seeing if everything else is compatible.
Yeah.
With the same being with poly. So poly relationships, there's more to poly relationships than just sex. It's not about because I
Mm-hmm.
have an attraction to multiple people. The reason why I've actually dabbled in dating poly couples this year, and what I have come to realize and learn, I mean, there's many different names for poly. There's not one specific
Mm-hmm.
type of poly relationship, but the gist of it is that, and for me what I was looking for was having the dynamic of a male and a female living in the household with me. Now, a lot of
Mhm.
people don't do that. There's what they call nesting partners, or they have a partner in, and then they are able to kind of move around and date freely or what have you outside of that. In the dynamic of a poly relationship going into a union format, I would say that outside of just intimacies, um, the benefits of poly, and I feel like that's why we're trending towards that now, is how our economy is. People can't afford to live by themselves, so it
Yeah.
makes more sense to not even have one or two parents in the household, but three or four if they are able to cohabitate together effectively. And I think and I feel that with the social media platforms and stuff, like having always having this instant gratification or this instant um access to other people, on top of our economy kind of just raising up the prices, that's what's driving and pushing us to have these poly relationships or getting away from
Hmm.
marriage, more so than it is about that one person commitment. Because I know people who are still married, and people of different generation. I'm a millennial, so of course it would be the older generations before us that I've seen lasting in marriages. But a lot of this, from courting to dating, courting, marriage, poly relationships, all of those kind of boils down to that instant gratification. People don't want to put in the work for the longevity of things anymore. They want
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
tangible right now, put it in my hands. So a lot of times, many relationships get based off of what can you do for me and not what can we do for each other.
Right. I say it all the time, and anybody who listens to me know, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna keep saying it till the day I die. People want Sunday dinner results with hot pocket instruction today. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want that 2 minutes in the microwave and get the greens and roast and mac and cheese and all of that. No, that's not how it works. You have to put in the work. Just like I always urge men, especially young men, that women should never be the focus of your life. They're a side quest at best. You should be focused on getting yourself to be the best version of yourself. Then you need to worry about women, because you can't just focus solely on yourself and then expect to get women. No, you have to work on that just like you work on yourself. And I tell women that you hear, well, God gonna send me a man. Baby, faith without works is dead. So just like you work for that degree, just like you work for that business, just like you work to make yourself into the woman that you are, you need to work at getting a marriage, finding a man that's willing to marry you, who you want to marry. You have to work at those things.
Exactly. So when we read the post, it was, you said the key words there was the man sets the tone for the relationship. So what would
Yes.
your advice be to a woman who, like, we're always the ones that need to be found.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Which
would your
which
advice be to someone? Go ahead.
I will say to that, it's been proven that women who initiate, make the first move, get better results than women who wait
Really?
for guys to approach them. Yeah, they do, because you go after whatever it is that you want versus waiting for whatever you want to come find you. Because today we're in a different time today. Guys approaching women on the street is just something I would not advise, because it's a dangerous game today. You're really playing Russian roulette. You don't know if you're gonna get a Charles Cooley or you're gonna get a cuckoo bird. You don't know what you're gonna get. So I mean, why? Why would I walk up on a woman in Publix and she, oh, stranger danger, he's this big black man and all that? Why would I risk that? Even though I don't know how she's gonna react, and she may not react that way. But why would I risk that? And so many men have, they're pretty much, they're like, you know what? I'm not doing this, because women tell us all the time that they don't want to be approached unless it's from a guy that they find attractive. But
Right.
I won't know if I'm attractive to you until I talk to you. That's the conundrum right now. So
Right.
I had to get that out. But you saying that, if say that again, if you're looking for what now?
So the context of the status was the
Set the
man
tone.
will lead.
Hmm. Yeah.
So for a woman who is looking for that man to lead, or
Yeah.
you talking about go out and get them, that don't always work in our favor either.
No, I didn't. Hey, I didn't say it was. It's not a. It's not down to a
The game,
science just
for
yet.
sure.
It's hit and miss. It's hit and miss. So you want to know what you should look for as far as a man is supposed to set the tone and lead.
Or yeah, just your thoughts on that. So, because now you're saying like it is more common for women just to go after what they want. So, how do we find that medium? Because I know from my experience of dating this year, um, there's a lot of men. There's a lot of men out there that'll be like, "Well, I am gonna lead," or "Well, do that. I am the leader, so be submissive," type of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's not how you're gonna get
Action.
us to naturally submit to you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. And me being a wife previously, I kind of have just a little bit of standpoint of how to be naturally submissive. Like I already know what it's going to take out of that man to do,
Mm-hmm.
so for me to become soft. um I've been known to be an aggressive and an alpha woman, to have a smart mouth and not know like when to just be soft. So I've had to learn even through dating of
Mm-hmm.
calming myself down. Like take a deep breath. You don't always have to respond to someone in spodiness or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Being respectful of other people's time and things of that nature. So I guess even in human nature, women do lead. That's why you see presidents having wonderful first ladies, and there's usually behind every successful man, there's usually a woman pushing him into to that drive. So I guess like how do we, because the way that things are set up now, it's like for me in my experience, I've experienced either men who will bow down to me and submit type of attitude, or they'll say they're leading, but they have no tangible uh, evidence of that for us to
Mm-hmm.
trust for them to lead.
All right.
Or it's like they really don't know how to lead, and they're the type of man who prefers the woman to lead. So it's like, how do we kind of navigate through those avenues? Would
Well,
you?
first of all, if as soon as you see that he's an incompetent leader, you should turn into Casper. You need to get Ghost. I mean, you need to go because it's not going to change. He is not
Yeah.
going to change. And that's one thing that I noticed women do, especially my black women, is I call y'all Bob the Builder because y'all want to build a man up. You want we can fix it. Yes, we can. No, no, that's not your job. It's his job to come to you a 100% man. If he's a 75% man, put him back in the oven. He got to cook some more because there's nothing you're going to be able to do to get him to 100%. He's going to have to do it himself. So from the beginning, he's going to have to show you that he's a competent leader. And that's in just about any facet of his life. You got to just look at his life. Is he a leader in his own life? Is he capable of leading himself? Is he a leader on his job? Is he a leader in his social circles? Is he a leader in his immediate family? You look for those things. But as soon as he shows that he's incompetent and he can't lead, or he relaxes and goes, because that's one thing about leading. The one thing about leading is he can lead, but you're always gonna have an input. You're always gonna have a say so.
Correct.
He's gonna lead, but he's gonna take your input. So you got to watch out for that too, because you're going to have men who want to lead and then it's their way or no way, and they don't consider you at all. So
Right.
that'll be a problem too. So you're looking for a happy medium, a man who knows how to lead, but who also can take advice, take constructive criticism without getting his feelings and letting his ego get the best of him because you pointed out something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So good communication skills is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, communication is everything. I mean, outside of money, communication is another reason that marriage and relationships break down. So you have to communicate those things and let them know. Say, hey, I'm looking for a masculine man to lead. I'm not looking to be a dominatrix, unless that's the in the bedroom. But other than that, I'm not looking to dominate you and for me to have all this pressure on me, because I noticed something. Women who are alpha females or so, like my mom is alpha female. Women who lead, they work, they go getters. After a while, you're like, yo, I'm sick of this. Like, can you take
Hi.
some of this weight off my shoulders. I don't want to do it anymore. I release it all to you. I'm done. I'm done. I see that. So, but it is hard for you to let go of the reins. Every now and then, you're gonna have that moment where that alpha female is gonna rear its ugly head. You're gonna get into it about something, especially if this guy is a masculine man and he's a leader. But even then, he should know how to handle that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've lost all hope. Have you been married?
No, I have not been married, and I always tell my mom, I said that I think that it's one of the best decisions that I probably made in my life was not getting married in my youth, because I would have made a bad decision. I would have probably married somebody who most likely was not compatible with, didn't properly vet them, as most men don't anyway. Men rarely vet for anything long term because we're visual and we go off of what we see a lot of times. But as I've gotten older, I realized that her, like, I think it's Denzel Washington said it. He said her body is not going to raise your children. Her mindset is. Yeah. So, but other than that, I don't know if marriage is for me. I mean, I'm not closing the door on it. It's just my whole thing is trust. I have to completely trust you, because if people looked at interactions with other people, especially when it comes to dating and marriage, if you look at it from the standpoint of you're putting your life in this person's hands, do you trust them with your life? People don't think about it that way, because if they did, they would think twice about dealing with people who are incompetent. And
Right.
so that's my main thing: trust and respect. Love is one thing. I'm a proponent of respect, though. Respect is primary, love is secondary, because if there is no respect there, we have no relationship.
Hey, I agree with you on that. And building, I think I had said that um in another post that's kind of trending right now on my social media. It was a it, it was a story about having woman to woman talks,
Mhm.
and how dating, um, even when you have the best intentions yourself, like you can ask these questions: hey, are you dating someone? Are you single? Are you sleeping with people right now? You ask all these questions, and they're not always answered to the best of knowledge. Um,
Yeah.
so that's kind of the reason why I kind of got away from dating, in that sense. And it boils back down to the trust, is because um, within dating, there have been plenty of like married men or men who are in relationships that are, I guess, whether it's quote unquote bored or just looking for something else, that will try to do that double life thing. And
Hmm.
so with that was one of the reasons why I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to officially stop dating and look at courting, and use the better terminology there to show that you shouldn't even approach me if it's on something as casual as just going to get a bite to eat, or if you have other women in your life that feel like they have an opportunity to go to that next level with you, then I'm not the one for you. um,
Yeah.
and so I think the next question would probably be, what is there a time difference in dating versus courting? Like, how long are we going to be like, all right, we gave it our best efforts, honestly, and now this is not working? I think it's easier to do that in a dating aspect than it is courting. Um,
Yeah. I'm not familiar. I mean, just not familiar with courting and the process and how it went down. I mean, I've heard stories of how they did it back in the day, in the 80s, 90s, 70s, and all of that. But as far as the timetable, I don't know, because let's say if we dating to marry, I would need. I mean, most men are going to know. You're going to know 6 months to a year whether you want to marry the woman or not.
I asked that question recently, and the men in that group said it only takes 2 months.
Hmm.
2 months, and you really know if you want to marry that woman or not. You'll know if she's the one. I'll give you too much time frame. I'm not saying you have to propose to her after 2 months, but you should have a good
Hmm.
general idea, if you've been, especially if you've been courting. Now, if you've already been
Yeah.
like real deal intently,
Yeah.
dating this woman, courting this woman, whatever, you should know within 2 months if you're ready to take that next step. For
Yeah.
me, I would go with the old school 90 days. Um,
90 days.
review it at least. You know what I mean? And from when I was dating, previously, usually most people didn't make it past 90 days. And I was okay with that. To be like, okay, well, this is
Mhm.
not for me. We're not best fit and just move on. But I want to say with courting, because you are setting the intention that this person's gonna be your lifelong partner. I'm just curious of like, would there be
What up, Tony? Oh,
more
it's
to
coming.
deal with
Mhm.
as far as like accepting things in that manner versus just dating?
Yeah. Let's see. Tony Stevens asked what courting is. So, by definition, courting is a relationship between a man and a woman wherein they get to know each other and develop their relationship before getting married. It says like courtship is like a promise to make a commitment to marriage, and say it cultivates a deep sense of emotional closeness between the couple. So it's a little bit different than dating. Dating is very casual. You go on a date with just about anybody.
Getting to know them, seeing if you
Mm-hmm.
even like them. Courting, you
That's it.
you do know them, you do like them.
Mm-hmm.
You've asked some really deep interpersonal questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Tony B says, I would say marriage is dead. Tony B, I am with you, sir. I would say it is going the way of the dodo. It's becoming extinct. Now, for those who want to be married, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to. It just means that you're on the time clock right now. Like you need to be scrambling. This last call at the bar, and you need to
Last
find.
altar.
Yeah, like altar call. Hey, this altar call, man, y'all, you got to get it. If you're marriage minded, you need to get on it. I mean, unfortunately, it's a lot of men who are still, especially depending on the age range you're looking for. If you want to go older, those men are established. They've already lived their lives. They have their careers and stuff like that. But if you're looking, I say 20s to about early 30s, those guys are still in transition, trying to figure things out. Some of them still trying to figure out who they are. But once you get to 30 plus, they start to figure it out a little more. Hold on, let me see what Tony B says. My neighbor has been arrested. Sex with dog, curtain open. He got caught. What? Wow. Really? Am I getting trolling? It's in the news. Check it out. I did not need to know that, Tony B. Anyway, but anyway, but yeah. Now, what were you talking about before? We got interrupted by that.
I think I was just talking like the time frame. Like it
Oh,
should
time frame.
be a time frame because we did talk
Two.
about questions. Like
Yeah.
dating is casual questions, you're getting no surface level.
Mm-hmm.
Courting, you're asking those deep interpersonal questions. So, like, is there a time frame to that? Are we reviewing like could there be with courting an intentional review date? So every 3 months, like say, hey, we're gonna give this 6 months to a year to really see if we can go to that next level. And then
Yeah.
maybe after 3 to 6 months, we're reviewing questions like, how do you feel about this? What if this changes, or, anything that may have popped up in those past 3 months, or the way you communicate with one another, just really shaping those behaviors towards one another.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's the biggest difference. I don't believe marriage is dead. I just feel like it's going in a new direction. Um,
Yeah.
I
It's
feel like poly marriages will soon become legal.
Yeah.
Just the
That's
way
coming.
we're kind of trending. And I believe that some of the old school people are still going to be there. It's the same thing with religion. There's a lot of people who are getting away from Christianity now. They're embracing all
Mm-hmm.
these different spiritualities, and I'm not knocking anyone for anything that they choose to do.
Yeah.
Um, but more so than not, and this is just statistically, of Christians are the ones who are going towards that marriage or going towards that union. Um, so people who are still, and we're trending away from that too. We're trending away from churches and people
Mm-hmm.
going in, but people that are still there, they're still praying to God, that are, trying to do the quote unquote inner work to heal themselves, to be that Proverbs wife or that biblical man standpoint. Those people are still, faith without works is dead. So
Yeah.
marriage is going to be dead too if you don't put in that work. If you are hopeful for that, then I would hope that you are putting in
Hmm.
that was some kind of correlation there, Tony, but
That was some kind of correlation there, Tony. But I get it. You want to see how lonely people are when they don't care for marriage. I got you. That was a hell of a correlation.
because and that's the thing too, is there's so many people that are like so against it. Like there's two ends of the spectrum. There's those
Hmm.
hopeful romantic or hopeless romantics who are like, yes, my husband's gonna find
Yeah.
me, he's coming to my front door. Then there's the ones in the middle who may be going to church, trying to do the work,
Yeah.
going to the appropriate places to meet the right man, whether that's church and not a bar, or what I'm saying, the grocery store versus the strip club, whatever it may be for that
Right.
person, looking in the right places for that person. Um, and then as well as, like I said, like we're just trending into different times. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that even with marriage and union, right now everyone knows that as man, one woman. But even religion and our nation being under one God, all of that's changing. Like we're going
Yes.
into a new world order altogether. So marriage being dead, no, I just think it'll change the components of that, especially if it becomes illegal where you can legally be married and have multiple wives.
Yeah, you see, old Tony B says also with OnlyFans, young people are becoming more degenerate. OnlyFans is popping. I mean, it's these young ladies are selling feet pictures, man. It's crazy. They say people are having less kids.
Scratch your head on that
Oh, sure, hey,
one.
because I
No
already know the
comment.
game. I already know the game, man. I already know the game.
Mhm.
People are having less kids. Yeah, that's true too, Tony. Birth rates have fallen steadily for 9 of the last 10 years, and it's a trend that I don't think is going to reverse. But yeah, that too. And without people having kids, what's the need? Some people probably might not see the need to get married, especially if they don't want to have kids. I think we're probably in a time where more people, especially of child having age, are deciding not to have children, or they're trying to put it off until after their careers and wait till later on. I mean, hey, do what you do, but it's hard to see them reversing that trend. But I'm gonna go back to something you said. You said the guys say 2 months it take. Now I will say it doesn't take long for me to figure out if I like you, if I can see myself with you, if I want to introduce you to my mom, if I want you to be around. But to walk down the aisle and to get into a contractual obligation with the state, it's going to take a lot more than 2 months. Like I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
popping the
of
question.
course.
Yeah.
But at least
Now
then within 2 months you'll know if you rather just continue dating them or court them. Is what I meant. Like,
I will say that. Now, yeah, after it doesn't take long for us to figure out, say, okay, are we going to go forward with this seriously, or are we going to just be casual and see other people, or just go in a different direction totally? Now, that's not too much to ask. If a guy can at least give you that after 2 to 3 months, you need to get ghosts, because it's not going to change. Let's see. I want multiple wives. Hey, can you afford multiple wives, Tony B? That's
that
the other thing. That's why they have the scripture Isaiah 4:1, which is what we're going to, because of the lack of economically attractive men is the term they love to use. It says, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name and take away our reproach. That's coming to fruition now, because the way mating is set up today. I mean, we put mating in the hands of children, if you really think about it, because the early is 14, 15, 16, already out dating and, sleeping around. So you put the make selection into the hands of children now. And so that's why we have what we have. Once you take the parents out of it, and because fathers can see scum from a mile away as far as a man, mom can see scum as far as a woman from far away. They can recognize those things that we as young people cannot. You dating 16, 17, all the way up until like early 20s, it's like you know what to look for? Have you been properly taught? Some people just haven't been properly taught. Some people, they parents have pretty much given them the game, told them what to look for. They've seen healthy relationships and healthy marriages, and they know what to look for. But a lot of us, we don't, because we come from dysfunction. It's hard to, I would say, just like boys not having dads in the home, he can't be a man unless he sees a man in action.
Right.
And you can't be a spouse unless you see spouses in action. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So I think that even with that, like once people are married, um, we're seeing less and less successful marriages. So with that, I feel
Mm-hmm.
that, uh, like you said, we don't have those examples, but as well as like we're not trying. Like I said, I came back to that earlier. Like people are getting married that aren't in churches. Their
Mm-hmm.
success rate of a successful marriage is significantly different than what a couple who put God first in their marriage, because those couples who are in a church and being respectful to their covenant are surrounded by other people who respect their covenant. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a married couple, as I was, who is having house parties every weekend, playing spades and watching football games and drinking, that's not really with other, maybe not married couples, but other like friends and colleagues and peers.
Yeah.
That's not really setting a healthy environment for a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
You're letting in spirits, whether that be the drinking and drugs, or you're letting in other people into your home. Private, like homes are private space in itself. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that those are the type of things of why marriages are becoming dead and obsolete, is because people don't respect the covenant of a marriage. Married people
Yeah.
shouldn't be hanging out with a whole group of single people. You guys don't have
Mm-mm.
anything in common anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, you should be around other, if you have, like, if you're a married couple that has kids, be around married couples that have kids, not married couples that don't have kids, so they can complain, or you can compare your life to something that
Mm-hmm.
you can't even have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we do as humans. We compare, we contrast, we compare to this pretty picture on social media instead of actually physically getting out there, socializing, fellowshipping with the right people, whether that be elderly couples, people that are set around your same age but are married. I just see that marriage is more successful when you have the correct environment and the correct fellowship of people. And because it's becoming less and less and divorce is becoming more and more, it's difficult to maintain in general that. Uh, but when you are mindful and intentional
Mm-hmm.
and set yourself up in the right environment to do the work, I am totally aboard that it is still possible.
Yeah. And so with the lack of economically attractive men, from what I said earlier,
Yeah.
the men who have resources are, I mean, they have harems. Like, I mean, the guy if this, and you gotta know, ladies, just like men know with a woman who's attractive, like Miss Chels Cooley here, that there are guys who are they're in the way, dude. They're all over the place. They're in the DMs, they're in the phone, they're even if she's not actively talking to them, they're waiting, like they're around,
Right.
they hover around, they're in your what we call beta orbiters, they're in your orbit. So at any given time they pop in like, hey, what's up, you interested yet? Oh no, okay, all right. And he pops back out. So you're
Same
going
for
to
me
have that.
though.
Same for those guys.
Yeah.
That's not all guys though, because we found out today, I mean, even a woman doesn't necessarily have to be attractive to have a bunch of guys. I know women who just are not attractive at all, and they have 17 boyfriends, like legit right now. I know these people, and she's not attractive. They're not attractive at all. But for men, it's different. Like you'll have women will want, let's say it's 100 guys. Women are going to want probably only about 20 of those guys. They're only going to find about 20 of those guys attractive. So they rather share the 20 than to have one of those other 80 all to themselves. And I, at first, when I heard that for the first time, I was like,
We did the same thing. Like,
and first I was like, man, nah, that can't be the case. But it's all around us. All you got to do is pay attention. That's what it is now.
People want what they can't have or what
That's all.
everyone else has. That's
Yeah.
just human nature in
Yeah,
general.
yeah, that's human
Um,
nature. Let's see. He says, "I'm in search of a wife, and marriage is a goal for me. But being vulnerable and allowing myself to let my guard down is a fear." Yep, trust. We talked about that earlier, Tony.
yes.
Trust you, man. I got to be able to trust you because, and outside of me trusting you with my life, I got to trust you with my children. that's one of my biggest things when it comes to marriage is it's not because divorce marriage today doesn't benefit the average man really. And women, I always hear women talk about, why are you worried about gold diggers if you don't have no gold to dig? Well, I'll tell them like this. Well, if I have a whole pie and you take half, okay, I still have half a pie. I'm gonna be pissed. I only got half a pie, but I still got half. Now, if I only have a slice and you take half of that slice, yes, you better believe I have a problem. Yeah, I got a big issue with you taking half of the little bit that I do have. So I get tired of hearing that. But for me, it's not about the money. For me, it's about my children because I'm a working man and I'm going to get, if I give you half of whatever I got, I'm going to go get double whatever that half I gave you because I'm a working man. I work.
Right.
But access to my children, that is a deal breaker right there. Because I told girlfriends in the past, I say, if we ever have children together and you try to play me to the left and alienate me from my children, I'm gonna sue you for full custody. And I'm put together a great case, and I'm gonna get my child or children from you, and
But
they're
see,
gonna be with
those are
me.
great courting questions and courting conversations, because
Right.
the difference in that is for dating, people who are dating casually or dating versus court. So casual is dating to me.
Yes.
And in that, as he was saying, like he's scared to open up to people. If you're dating multiple people, of course you're not going to want to open up to 3 or 4 strangers at one time. But when you're courting and you're intentional of only talking to one person, you and that person can pace yourself at your comfortability or not comfortability to kind of work up to build that trust. Trust comes
Yeah.
from being vulnerable. Trust comes
Yes.
from being in that place of vulnerability and allowing that other person to be your safe space. So you're not going to get trust if you're not trying to be vulnerable. If you don't even open up and express, there's no way for that to grow to more than that. So
Yeah. So dating initially, early dating was often confused for prostitution. Because back in the day, when you see a man out with a woman, you would think that man was paying that woman. You thought that he was a John, and she was a prostitute. That's the basis of dating. And I found that out when I realized that. I said, well, it does make sense because I will say that it's very strange that we have to pay money in order to get to know somebody. And that's not every situation, of course, but it doesn't take money for me to get to know you. Like, why do I have to take you here, take you there, buy this and buy that, and all of this stuff in order to get to know you, to see if I even like you and see if I can even stand you. Before I even can get a conversation, just like the conversation we're having now, I got to take you on a date. I don't know you. You're a stranger. That's why they came up with the thing pre-dates where it was a big
or
rage where
Dutch
they
dates or
Dutch dates or stuff like that. But and I get it. It's women who are traditional, and that's what they want, and they're not coming off of that. I'm cool with that. There are plenty of men who have no issue paying for your dates. And I'm a proponent of whoever asks need to pay. Whoever asks. So if you ask, pay. That's just what it is. If you're a man and you ask, pay. If you're a woman, you ask, pay. It is what it is. So you don't agree with that?
what, Dutch dates?
No, whoever asks pays. What's up, Stephanie?
What you were adding? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you had asked me.
Oh, whoever asks pays.
Pays. Oh, yes. So I'm with that too. But because of that, I'm not gonna be the one to ask a man out on a date
We
if
know. We know.
if I
We
don't
already know.
like
we know. We
no.
know. We
Because for
know.
me, and so that goes back to dating, is like, see, that's the difference in dating and courting. For me, courting, the man's gonna come approach me. I can be a very aggressive woman and go after what I want. That's usually that's why I'm single now. I know what I want and I know what I don't want. So
Yeah.
with that, I'm not willing to settle anymore because of that. But with that being said, like, okay, so now we have to come out and we have to do these things. Like, I think that that's where it comes down to, like, the old school stuff. Like, it wasn't about going to take us to the most expensive restaurant. It was about your intentions and the thoughtfulness you put in to have my time. You show up with flowers. You open my door. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all dressed up for you, and you're all dressed up, and we're about to go to this fancy place. It might be a $20 meal, but because we got all dressed up, you know what I mean? We have an itinerary for the night. We're gonna go watch a movie underneath the sunset in the back of a pickup truck. Like, that's the type of stuff. That's the courting I want to see. It doesn't, for me, like, find money. Let's see. I'm not a materialistic woman. So materialistic things don't arouse me. But your ambition, your drive, your effort does. So you say, okay, I don't have money to take you out. And that's all men, like, okay, I don't have the money. But have you even tried? You could take $10 and go to the Dollar Tree and find 5 candles and some fake flowers. You know what I mean? Like, you
could do it.
I've seen men put in the work, and men become lazy. Just as much as maybe women too. You know what I'm saying? We don't put in the effort to do much other than look good. You know what I'm saying? There's women out there who don't study and try to become mentally stimulating, or, you know what I'm saying, go after them more. So in all general senses, I feel like courting is the unlaziness of dating. Like, you are putting in the work, you're putting in the attention. It's not really about money. It's that thought process behind it. It's the intentions of it.
Right. So you know why we're lazy today, right?
The instant gratification. Everything's at our fingertips.
That's part of it. This is why, right here. Once we became connected worldwide, it was a wrap.
Oh yeah,
it was it.
I agree.
You have access to people that you never had access to before. So now, let's say the guys who are, let's say, 8, 9s, and 10s, those guys on their scales, that's looks, money, status, resources, those top guys, athletes, entertainers, rappers, really good looking guys, they all lump them all in that same pot. Those men don't have to date, court, none of that, because those men have no issue.
You saying a word right now, Brandon?
Down. Yeah. Dating, they have no issue dating down. See, like, I always compare it. Jay-Z will talk to the girl who works the counter at McDonald's who's highly attractive. Beyonce ain't even stepping foot in the building. You as a guy there, you have no shot at it. That's the difference. Guys who are 8s, 9s, and 10s, men want the least path of resistance when it comes to sex. So they're going to look for their layups. So he got a chick who's a 8, but she wants to be courted and she wants romance and dinners and stuff, versus a 5 who's like, I'll be over in 10 minutes. He's like, yeah, let me have that 5 come over.
Brandon,
yeah,
but
you see what I'm saying?
We're going back to talking though about dating versus courting. Is that man looking just to date, or is he looking for a wife? Because if he's looking for a wife, he's not gonna be looking for that quick.
Well, I was talking about all the women who go after those type of men. So Miss Cooley, do you think that a man should find a woman, or will it be okay if a woman approach a man? We talked about that. She said she's not doing it.
We talked about that too. So Brandon was saying that this new day and age, a lot of men prefer for women to come after them. And I was saying, as an
alpha, no, not prefer. No. Not necessarily men prefer that. Is that it's been proven that women get better results when they approach. Most guys are going to approach anyway.
But that kind of ties into what you're saying now too, because if that woman is approaching an 8, 9, or 10, and she's below that, he's like, oh, well, all right, you're here. So, but what does that say for, are men going to wife someone like that? Because I've heard that men like to chase. Men like something to work for, a challenge. So if we're easily giving it up on first date, like, that's not the wife he's looking for. That's a date, not a court.
No. And then when you approach, I mean, you're not approaching to say, hey, you want to go back to the house? No, that's not what you're doing. That's not what we're doing. And then as for women, you guys have it to where you can just use your feminine wiles. Like, you use, what is it called? Choosing signals. So prolonged eye contact, not too long, but long enough to let him know that you looking directly at him, and you don't have to. She looking at me. She's talking about me, but no. So a little bit of long eye contact, flipping the hair, playing with your hair while you're talking to him is a choosing signal as well. having your body facing towards him while you're talking to him is a choosing signal as well. And just, little things, giving cues to know that he can approach. You want to look at inviting as possible. You don't want the resting B face. You don't want the F off stamped on your forehead, because as soon as the guy sees
it's etched in.
It's etched in, it's gonna show up. It's gonna show right on up. So I mean, if you don't look inviting, then how can a guy, ever approach? Like, I'm out and about all the time. Like, I do Instacart from time to time, like shopping and delivering to people. So I'm in grocery stores on a regular basis. And when I'm in the grocery store, you have the women, especially say women of other races. Women of other races always cheesing at me. Like, they cheesing, hey, how are you doing? You doing okay? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Might spark up conversation. Black women, not all, of course, but majority of them.
The attitude.
They're like, hey, how you doing? Hey.
So to answer your question, Tony, me as an alpha woman, I have approached men first before. And it usually does come down to the ones that I've noticed in my dating patterns was the ones that I go after, they don't really show interest back into me, and that makes me chase them harder, which is really unhealthy, toxic pattern. So that is why I'm not doing that no more.
So that right there. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm very much a Christian woman, and I have prayed that the Lord's just gonna have to send my man to my front doorstep. So if you ain't got my address, look.
Prince Charming does not break enterings, ma'am. He doesn't.
Knock on the door.
He no, he don't know that house.
Amazon.
Unless he deliver you some groceries and you open the door, then he sees.
Yes,
it's not happening.
It's a possibility.
Nah,
Amazon delivery man might be my husband, y'all.
Yeah. Shoot, yeah, be like the Amazon delivery man that got fired. He had the woman coming out the back of the truck. Did you see that?
Oh, I seen that. Oh,
yeah. You might get one of those. Yeah. You thinking, oh, this Prince Charming, and he got women in the back of his Amazon truck.
And crazy. And that's actually, I made another post on that too. Like, that's why I'm no longer dating, because you don't know these people. Like, they'll put on a good face for a couple of months, and then you find out they do have a whole family.
Yep.
Right here in Jacksonville with us. Like, what is this? Dating in Duval, you guys.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's crazy, because like when I was talking to some guys at my job, and they're both married, and they've been married for years, and I was trying to tell them about the approach game today and how you can't approach like you did in the past. I said I wouldn't advise it. And they're trying to sell me on approaching. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Aren't you married? Dude, you ain't approached in years. This ain't the 90s. And they're trying to tell me about how to approach and stuff. And I'm like, you got something you need to tell me? Like, you supposed to be married. There's no more approach. You're supposed to be approaching your wife. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But guys, men, especially older guys, especially guys who are married, they think that the game has stayed the same. I was in a relationship for 5 years, and I was that was 4 years ago. And just those 5 years I was in that relationship, when I got back on the dating market, I was like, I didn't recognize anything. Dude, I was out of the loop. I was left behind. I had downloaded Tinder. I downloaded Plenty of Fish. What was that? Bumble or some other. I downloaded some other stuff. And when I tell you, I did not like the results I was getting on those dating apps. I was like, no. Went on some of the worst dates in my life. Went on a bowling date with a girl, cursed me out twice. And I had to threaten to leave the first time before she stopped. And then when we were getting ready to leave in the parking lot, she did it again. And I was like, wow, like this is serious. And then she hit me up for like 3 straight months trying to get me to take her out again. And I was like, are you serious right now? Like, no, ma'am, you crazy. You're insane. I'll be very stupid. You've shown me who you are. I'm going to believe you. But I know you've had, I was talking with a young lady earlier today. Matter of fact, Stephanie, if she's still watching, we was talking about it and how bad the dating is like right now, man. The bad dates we've been on.
Yeah.
They say, so do you think the approach has shifted due to lack of chivalry? Oh yeah, chivalry is dead. And,
definitely. Because we had talked about that earlier. I said, even the old school of bringing flowers, opening the door, Like,
Mm-hmm.
you guys can go Dutch on the day, or even shoot, make some sandwiches and have a picnic at the park. I'm very much a hippie, so it does not take much at all. It just takes the
Mm-hmm.
effort and thought into it. But if you're
Right.
not doing any of that, or you're complaining about going Dutch on a date, or you're complaining about paying for a $30-$40 date, or whatever the case may
Right.
be, whatever the first impression is of this person, and y'all go on a date, and then now you're flexed over the damn bill. Like, it's the
Mm-hmm.
principle behind it, not the money. And I
If I
think that
like the
men get
woman,
so caught up in, we're looking at money, but we're not. We're looking at how you are even coming to approach us. You want
right.
us for a lifetime, then show us a little bit of investment. I'm not saying hand me
Right.
$1,000 up front, but
Right.
at least know, like, build that trust. Show me you can be there for me when I need you. I
Yeah.
seen some females talking on social media the other day, and that she was saying how she'll test men on purpose, and she'll ask them for $5-$20 just to
Mm-hmm.
see if they'll give it to her. And she'll, like, sometimes I have the money, so it's really just a matter of seeing. And a lot of those responses are, like, ask yo the nigga, or, you got the money yourself, or, that's not what
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for, or whatever the case may be. And those are the tests. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you have an attitude like that? If someone's asking you, a grown ass person is asking you for $20, 9 times out of 10, they really need that $20. And they put their pride and ego aside and got into a vulnerable space for even to ask for that
Mm-hmm.
$20. And then here you go, $20. What you need
Oh no,
$20 for?
I got a solution for that. Yeah, I got 20, but I only got it in cash. Where you at?
See? But see,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's
Let's see if you
better.
for real. Let's
And
find out if you for
that's like
real.
a flirty, you know what I mean? Like a
Mm-hmm.
banter type of fun way to test people, and not like, because people just respond in the
Flip it
wrong
on them.
way.
I love to flip stuff on people, especially when they come like that. Because if you ask me for $5-$10, I know you trolling anyway. Especially if I look
Some
at it,
people
if
ain't
you
got it, okay? And then that's
some
another
people
whole
don't
story.
have it,
Because if you don't got
and
it, then why are you dating?
yeah, right now that's another one. Yeah. Broke
Mm-hmm.
dating is the thing, man. You got guys broke dating, women broke dating. It's just no, man. Get off the market and get yourself together. He say, I'm stealing that, bro. Hold on, what you stealing? I got some stuff that's copyrighted. I'm gonna sue you. What you stealing? But yeah, if you don't like the results you're getting on the dating market for men and women, just self-reflect.
Yes.
Figure out what's going on with you and see what you can improve on. Like me, I didn't like the results I was getting, so I stopped everything. I deleted all the apps. I unfollowed all the IG models. I unfollowed. Oh, he talking about the $20 meetup. Oh yeah, do that. Flip it on them. Tell her, say, yeah, I got $20, but yeah, I'm on Avenue B. Come holler at me on Avenue B. Or I'm over here in Grand Park. Come holler at me. Yeah, yeah, come holler at me. But get off the dating market and self improve. Like I didn't like what I was getting, so I deleted everything. I got off the dating market, and I started to improve myself. I had some things I needed to work on. I'm still working on them. Not a finished product. I barely scratched the surface of the improvement, but I'm starting to see the results already. Like, oh, it's crazy. It's been maybe a year and a half of me putting in work in earnest, and I'm already seeing the results. It doesn't take long, people. It's just one day at a time. You're trying to get 1% better every day.
And focused on that. Date yourself before you date someone else.
Oh man, yes, be alone, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. There's so many people who just have this fear of being alone. I do. Hey, I'm like what Bane in Batman. He was like he say you merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it. Hey, you adopted the aloneness. I was born in it, man. Alone is where it's at for me. I love being alone. I'll tell any woman when it comes to me, you're not going to be competing against another woman. It's rare, especially if I like you and we establish something. Your competition is not other women. Your competition is my peace and alone time. Can
Right.
you integrate yourself into my peace and alone time and me still have it and enjoy it? Or
Right.
are you coming in being a quarrelsome woman and I got to sit on the edge of the roof?
No, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Women have to be more soft. That is for sure. In dating and courting, uh, and marriages are dying because, um, Yes, definitely date yourself. For women and men,
What up, Robin Brooks?
everyone who is unsure or matching themselves to people who just don't seem to be compatible, or those you attract what you are, but then some people will be like, well, I'm a healer, so I'm going to attract damaged people anyways. No, if you're always attracting
Mm-mm.
damage, there's something there that needs to be fixed. So dating, in my opinion, that's a perfect time to do that. You go on a date with someone casually, you get to know them, you kind of figure out, what did you like about them? Write it down. Hey, I like this
Mm-hmm.
about their character. Next time, write the cons down. Oh, I didn't like this. Go on another date. Did that person have similar traits to the last one? Like, kind of look at your own dating pattern of what you keep choosing to pick. Because if it's not working for you, like you said, you kind of just deleted everything and let's start over. Let's do something different. And that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I had to do as well. Was just date different, or allow someone to come and court me now, because I've tried it all these ways, and I've even tried dating other people out of my comfort realm, and it didn't seem to work in my favor.
Yeah.
So, exactly.
Yeah. If you
You
can't
don't
date
know what you
yourself, then
like and you don't like,
how do you
how
expect
can
someone
you
to date
correct
you and be
that?
successful? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 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 For certain. For certain. And it takes some fortitude, man. It takes some intestinal fortitude to do it, because giving up talking, I mean, just this as a guy, I didn't talk to anybody. I cut everybody off. I wasn't texting, FaceTiming, going on date, none of it. I was doing none of that. I didn't talk to anybody, because I needed that time to refocus. And I focused on myself. And I found out a lot of things about myself. One of the things I found out is what we're doing currently right now, is that I can do this. I was like, wow, I have a talent. I say I need to cultivate that talent. And had I not taken that time, I most likely probably would never found it right now. Might have been later on down the line or so. But once I saw it, I was like, oh man, this is my pure focus right here. I said, one, because the improvement initially, just like most men, the improvement initially is you do it for women. Like, I'm not getting the results I want in women, so I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to get a better job. You do it for women. That's how most men start. Probably about, I would say about 25% of the way through it, I was like, I started accomplishing goals, and I got to the happiest I've ever been. I had got to a very, very good place because I just started accomplishing goal after goal after goal after goal, and it got addicting. And now it's like I'm going this path right now, and women have nothing to do with it. It's not for women, because I already know, just off of me and who I am, me being jovial, and women call me a teddy bear and all of that. I'm gonna get women off to that off top anyway, just off of who I am and my personality. So I was like, that's not something I need to worry about. What I need to worry about is making myself the best possible version of myself. So when she does come along and I do have a chance to meet somebody who I could potentially marry, I am in a place where we can move forward and have a healthy, successful relationship.
I agree. I agree that definitely that first step is working on self, getting yourself at a good, healthy standpoint where you feel comfortable enough to date yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
then moving into dating people, testing the waters, and then into courting. Like, it's stages.
Right. Well, this is for you guys, Miss Chels, this, because I don't have children. So he said, "What is the time frame before you allow someone to meet your kids?" Yeah. So what's the time frame for you? Is it as soon as possible? As soon as you know, not as soon as possible, but I'm saying, but as soon as you know that you probably want to take this person serious, then you're like, okay, they probably need to meet my children. Not like right away, but as soon as you know that we may be getting serious, then
Still.
the setup. Still no? Okay.
Mm-mm.
So when do you
So
do?
yeah, so I have been officially divorced uh 2 years now in October. Yeah, 2 years now in October. So since I have been dating, I've only had two official boyfriends, and both of those official boyfriends only lasted less than 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
So the second one that I dated this year, he actually did meet my kids. We were dating. We knew of each other previously. So we had knew each other and been around each other at least a stable 6 months first. And then we were probably about 2 or 3 months into actually being a boyfriend and girlfriend that I was like, okay, now I get to introduce you to my kids. But as soon as I did that, then we kind of hit our tiff and we broke up. So then it was like, damn. And I didn't realize, because even though my divorce was finalized 2 years prior, we had separated 2 or 3 years before that. So I was like on and off dating. And when we first split up, it was about a year after that before I introduced the kids to somebody, but it was just a friend. It was just someone I could hang out with. And I was like, okay, it's all right for them to see me hanging out with someone in the daytime. So I had kind of like let that play out. Usually if the person has kids as well, I'm more willing to let them meet my kids. If they're more open to doing like play dates, like we're at the park, it's a mutual, it's just to kind of let the kids get a feel of each other. We are already in agreement that we're not about to be kissing on each other or showing any type of romantic type of feelings, and kind of get a feel that way before I just up and introduce. I think from the experiences I've had in this last year, I would say at this point, it's going to have to be at least 6 months of I'm in a committed relationship with someone. And even in that, like you still might not have the kids until the end of that 6 months. And even in that, it'll probably be like I said, like the park play dates or something real casual in public. Because I have girls. I have all girls, 3. So I'm very protective over them. It's tiresome and redundant to have to go and do full extensive background checks on everyone because courthouse still seals records all the time. So even if you go and look and try to see if this person's a sex offender or has any type of violent history that may or may not pop up on public record,
Right.
So for me, I would say 6 months to a year.
Yeah. Get the background check, get a credit check, all of that
all
stuff,
of that.
man. I mean, you need all of that. I would say that's a good rule of thumb because, I mean, one thing about women with kids, and one thing I'm kind of reserved about because I've dated women with kids before, and it's hit and miss, but it's a double breakup because once I get to know your kids and I get to know you, I got to break up with the kids too. That's rough. That's rough because kids usually like me. I got a girl who I didn't even date. We at no point did we ever date, but me and her, we hung out some, but I was around her son a good little bit, and he got attached to me in a short period of time. Like it didn't take long. And his dad's not around, so I understood that why he got so attached so quickly. Like he got so attached to me so quickly, she got jealous. Yeah, she got jealous, and we had a tiff because of how attached she was to me.
It's because it's for single moms, we know that this stuff is going to affect our kids, but it's a totally different thing to see it affect our kids. So like when I introduced them to my ex-boyfriend of this year, my kids pointed out to me that the last time I introduced them to a guy was 2 years ago. So it was just like a dang, like this is a really serious moment for them. And I didn't realize how serious it was until they're like, dang, mom, so who's this new guy? Like I couldn't even introduce him as just a friend because they already knew, like, it's been so long since mom's brought someone home that, like kids remember stuff.
Yeah. And it knows no age because how old are your kids?
13, 8, and 4.
13, 8. Okay, I'm 33, and I saw my mom. She was all giddy on the phone one day with some dude. Who that? I need to know. Who is that? I need this. Who is this person? I don't know this man.
Who got you smiling like that, mama.
So trust me, you got boys. The boys are always gonna be in your mix when it comes to your dating, especially these men folk out here. Yeah, for certain, for sure. Man, but this was a great talk, man. We got to do this again sometime. We got to come up with another topic, and we got to do this again. We delve into some other stuff. Yeah. Oh, here she go. Don't tell her business. What you mean? Don't tell your business. It is what it is. The truth is the truth, lady. But yeah, we got to do another topic or something. I definitely want to delve more into poly because it's going to be something that everybody needs to understand. I haven't seen
Do some
many
research
people.
too, because they got so many labels and
Mm-hmm,
terms, and
mm-hmm.
I was embracing one. I went to a it was called a Mars versus Venus. So it was like kind of like just an adult setting for like women versus men to kind of talk and have
Yeah.
open dialogue. And um, dang, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. What were we just talking about in regards to?
Poly. We're talking about poly. You say the
Yes.
different
So I
types.
would, and the question. So the group was
Mm-hmm.
asking questions and like just answer yes or no type of thing. And so they were going around. They were like, "Well, are you open? Are you
Mm-hmm.
open to an open marriage or open relationship? What's your ideas on poly?" And
Yeah.
so I try to explain myself because I am a bisexual woman. So I was like, well, I think I prefer like a kitchen table type wife. I think that's what it's called. And I'm running with it, right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking I'm confident in this. And then like 10, 20 minutes later, like we get onto a different subject or a different question. And one of the ladies there for the night, she is a lesbian, so she knows all the terminology and was like, basically, a kitchen table wife would be okay. Like everyone can sit at the table together and have a discussion about it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be an in-house nesting partner, and then the kitchen table person probably doesn't live in the house. And I was like, well, dang, that's not even what I thought I was
Thought it
just
was.
describing. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have it let me know in that moment, like, okay, I need to do more research
Mm-hmm.
as well into these different labels and terms. And I think even in that, like, if we go to have a discussion about that, of how those things are changing too, it's just like same with the LGBT community. Now they have
Mm-hmm.
a TQR,
Yeah.
yeah, all this extra stuff at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So they make up new words every day, and we have to learn those.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah. I refuse. I refuse. Though. When they hit me with the they slash them and his slash her, and I was like,
and our
he
and our children are embracing that, unfortunately.
they are.
So now that's
They are.
what, like, at first I'm like, I don't have to worry about none of that, and now my
Mm-hmm.
13-year-old's experimenting with those labels, and it's a lot. It's different
It's
worlds evolving in different ways, many different
mm-hmm.
ways.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely go into poly. I'm gonna do some more research on it and try to delve into it. But yeah, we'll definitely do a poly talk because know more about it. And I want the mindset. I get it, but man, you want more than one woman in the house with you? Like, I don't know about that, man. I don't know because I have two attitudes in there, two expectations to meet. Like, because
Two
one
women to
one
cook, 2 women to tend to the kids, 2 women to. I don't know the
yeah.
on this show, but there's
Mhm.
plenty
I
of things.
mean, no, I get it, but it's like I don't know, man. Just I would say it puts more pressure on you to be the best version of yourself and to be a go getter because if you got
And
you got to pay the cost to be the
provide for
boss.
you.
hmm You
Yeah.
got to pay the cost to be the boss. Good God, who's that? Tony said he said he want multiple wives. I said okay, you can want that all day long. Are you making multiple wife income and a family of however many kids you're gonna have income? Can you take care of them? Because as soon as the money's gone, they're most likely going to be gone. It's just that's what it is. That's how it is today. So I mean, men have to understand that. And I just think overall, as far as dating and the way it is today, I don't see a time where it's going to get any better as far as dating. Now, if we like, I've heard things. Only we're pretty much going all the way left right now, and so the only thing that's going to course correct us and kind of get us back to some semblance of what we used to be, because what we used to be, as much as people frown upon it, whether it's the '50s wives or the women didn't have this and women didn't have that, that built the infrastructure for the U.S. That's why we are where we are today. But now we've done away with it and we've gotten away from it. The infrastructure is starting to crumble. We're going backwards. We're starting to decay. Like China. China has understood this for a while now. They put masculinity courses in their curriculum in their high schools because boys are too soft. It's the same in this country. Boys have been, I mean, boys, they've empowered girls to the point where they've let the boys just wither away. Like black boys reading at a fourth grade level. That's inexcusable. I can't even imagine that. A fourth grade level. That's what our boys are reading at, a fourth grade level. I say it's sad. So the only
Right.
way we can get back to where we were is they say war. War will push us back to where we were. Famine, plague, not the C-19, not the ghostly C-19 that they like, because that's not really a plague, dog. 98.2% survival rate. Anyway, aliens, they say, we have alien invasion or something like that, or religious awakening, which we're starting to see. There's a young people, it's kind of a movement where they are focused more on courting than they are dating. You have the young boys, young girls, they have gotten way more religious because they see their peers around them where it's pretty much menage a everything. And the thing about being overexposed to something is that it can kind of turn your stomach. Like you have whatever your favorite thing is to eat. If you eat it every day, eventually you're going to be like, I kind of want something else. And you're not going to eat your favorite thing anymore
Right.
for a long time. So that's one thing where we've opened up the doors to sexuality is now people are like, please put the top back on it because we didn't expose too much. I don't want to see no more. It's disgusting.
It's pretty much. I'm hoping that we get to that. I don't see it yet,
I don't see it
but I'm
yet.
hoping. Yeah.
Yeah.
This has
Yeah.
been a great topic and discussion. I am like the most nervous host ever, so I greatly appreciate you keeping the conversation light and comfortable for me.
Well, that's what I aim to do. I'll tell anybody that I always wanted this to whether you're watching me or you're on with me, that this is a conversation between two friends, sort of intimate. This is not no business thing or nothing grand. No, it's just two people, talking. That's just what we're doing. So, you got any closing thoughts on the dating versus courting and marriage dying and whatnot?
I think the biggest thing is it's only dead if you don't put in the work.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
it's there. It's there. They say marriage will become a more of a elite institution because it's not going to completely die. The elites are going to still marry. The men who because marriage does have its benefits, and one of the benefits for men is that how married men are viewed versus single men. So if I'm trying to climb the corporate ladder, shoot in
Right.
politics, anything, men who are married are viewed more in a favorable light, get more opportunities, more promotions, and things like
Mm-hmm.
that because they have a family. They're seen as more stable and not as unpredictable as a man who's single.
That is true.
Yeah, so those are one of the benefits of marriage, but we'll see how we go along and how whether we get back to it. I mean, it's not looking good right now, but as you say, hey, all what is the saying before we go? No cause is lost as long as there's one fool left to fight for it.
No, say that one more time.
No cause is lost as long as there's one fool left to fight for it. So no matter what the cause is, as long as there's somebody willing to fight,
The
it's
fool, huh?
relevant. Well, they say fool, but it's as long as
Yeah.
somebody's like, yeah, like if you're a person and you're the only person fighting for something, people gonna look at you like you are a fool. So as
That's
long as
true.
there's one fool willing to fight it out and willing to stick with it, then no cause is ever lost. So never forget that.
Beautiful.
So you got any social media, anything, or any businesses, anything anybody want to follow, or any statements that you want to endorse if you're running for office, anything like that?
So the biggest thing is I am a life coach and I do offer coaching sessions for self-love, self-care routines. So those people who are lonely and needing to figure out themselves before dating, definitely hit me up. You can find me at Chels Cooley on Facebook, or you can also link to my website. It is Happy Hippie, and that's IE at the end of, oh, wrong side. IE at the end,
Mm-hmm.
coach.com. So that's happyhippiecoach.com. That's the name of my website. You can fill out the form for a free consultation so we can figure out exactly what you need. For people who are needing mental clarity, I offer grounding sessions where we kind of go outside and barefoot and kind of connect to nature to kind of get ourselves in a more calming state. I have lots of tools and resources as far as like worksheets and PDF files to kind of help. We talk about emotional intelligence, how your emotions play on your body, how your emotions play with the relationships of other people. That's me. And not only do I help young adults, most of the clientele that I have are in their early 20s. So those people who are transitioning out of their either out of their parents' homes or out of college, people who are just getting out on their own for the first time, young parents, teen parents, and families as well. So I want to put our families back together. So whether you have a two-parent household, you're co-parenting, you're trying to blend two families together, you're trying to find a balance for your family. So you do have a two-parent household and you're just trying to find that balance, trying to get more involved with your kids, all of that good stuff. It is here readily available. Talk about all the different services I offer. Under the About Me, you can learn a little bit more about me, and my work resume is on there, a little bit about my backstory and how I got into coaching. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, all right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I thought you had flaked on me. I know my people was like, he talked about that girl, man. I was calling you cornflake, frosted flake, dandruff flake. I was calling you all kind of flakes.
Dang.
I was like, man, she done stood me up. She done flaked on me. I said, I'm used to it though. Getting into this podcasting game, man, trying to get people on is tough. You know, I try to double book if I want to really want to do something important because people flake. I got people who just they either
Camera
don't
shy. People are
respond
camera
or
shy. Stop calling people flaky.
but some of these people have their own podcasts.
Oh,
So
well, them busy.
mhm.
People are busy. We are in
Oh,
the
they
middle of a
busy, right?
pandemic,
They
sir.
busy. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right.
Okay. Be
You said
nice.
they busy. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? But I will say that when Brandon is shining and that phone is ringing and you come to me, then I'm gonna still put you on, of course. But I'm gonna let you hear it. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, my brother, wait a minute, hold on. You was just too busy with me 2 months ago. What's going on? It's all good though. Let's do the show. You know, so you know. But I'm gonna let you know. So man, but I appreciate it. So yeah, you gave all your social media. Make sure y'all follow me. Y'all see all my stuff on the bottom. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. I will be back tomorrow night with my sports show. Me and Mr. Reed. Man, we got to talk about Henry Ruggs and how his career is over, man. I feel for that kid, man. He made bad decision. Driving 156 miles an hour. I think he had double the legal limit. Blood alcohol level, hit a lady in the back, and the car burst into flames and killed her and her dog. And the Raiders just released him, I think yesterday or today. And man, he's going to face some time, man. I mean, great young receiver, one of my Bama kids, and it's all over for him, man. But we're going to talk about it tomorrow. So tune in for that. And we're going to talk about Ben Simmons, man. Ben Simmons for the Philadelphia 76ers is hilarious. He's not playing because he said that he's not mentally where he needs to be. He has some mental health issues, right? So the 76ers said, it was like, okay, Ben, concerned, they want to help him. Like, we got therapists, we got all the resources you need. What can we do to help? And Ben would hit him with the, oh, no, I'm good. You know, I just don't want to play.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So they like are really, really pissed off about that. So we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Y'all come on through. What time tomorrow? Most likely it'll be probably a little after 7, probably like 7:05, 7:10. So just join me. And I'll post it and I'll share it in all the groups and you'll see it. So if you're not friends with me on Facebook, add me, or if you're not following me on YouTube, subscribe to get all my shows. Hey, we rocking this thing till the wheels fall off. Oh, I got another show Friday as well. James Coleman. We're gonna talk Seminoles and we're gonna talk Jaguars. But that is all for today. I appreciate Miss Chels Cooley for coming on. Thank you so much. So I appreciate y'all, but we are out of here.
Thanks,
Peace out,
Brandon.
y'all. Well.